Well, welcome back, beautiful people, to my channel. My name is Crystal Turner. I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner who has gone holistic because I know to be whole is to be healed. And today I am talking about something that really does impact our society in a huge way, and that is anxiety. I want to talk about three things that may be causing your anxiety, because it's not just about medication. And I think that this video can be very beneficial if you are a person who's dealing with anxiety. So before we get started, I would like for you to hit the like button and let's just jump right in. So anxiety, if we were to put some definition around it, because everyone doesn't know if they're experiencing anxiety, but when you're experiencing anxiety, you may feel nervous, you may feel on edge, you may feel restless, like you can't sit still, you may constantly feel like you're having racing thoughts, you may have trouble sleeping. Anxiety has a number of ways that it can show itself, and another one of those ways is having increased irritability. So if any of those are you, let's talk about that, because anxiety ends up causing us to really be challenged with having peace, be challenged with, being able to enjoy the moment, because we could be worrying so much about the future or so much about the doom and gloom of life. You may feel like this feeling that something terrible is going to happen, even though it's not. And it's something that really does keep you from being able to be in a state of peace. Many times people come into my office for treatment with medication, and some people always ask, some of my patients ask very frequently if they will always need to take medication. And I think it's a great question to ask, because it always ends up opening up a larger conversation with people who want to know that, because it's more about understanding that when you're dealing with anxiety, it's more than just a diagnosis of anxiety. There's something deeper going on. And I really like to attribute this and connect this to a African spiritual principle that talks about cause and effect. And in understanding cause and effect, we understand that nothing is just happening. Everything has a source, a reason, and that includes our mental state. When we're dealing with anxiety, it's not just anxiety. And I think it's challenging for people at times because, you could feel so much overwhelmed with anxiety that you just want it to be done, right? And so we can stop at the idea that, well, you're feeling all these things because you have anxiety. But that's the label that's been given to these ways that we feel. But what I would want you to know more than that is that there's a reason for the feeling of anxiety. And so I want to talk about three of those ways, and I'm going to do a bonus at the end as well to really talk about some things that could be contributing to you feeling anxious, nervous, and unable to relax. So let's start with number one, which is having nutritional deficiencies. When I am taking this approach to mental health, what I've come to learn is that, first of all, the entire body, all systems are connected, but nutrition plays such a major role in so much ailment that's going on today, because so many of us are nutrient deprived. And what's showing up in a lot of people is what happens long term when we don't have proper nourishment. And putting more definition around what nourishment is, it is that we're getting the essential minerals, vitamins, all of the nutritional needs and requirements that our body needs on a cellular level. And many of us are not getting that. And I know that we get this confused because many of us are eating all the time. Some of us are overweight in our current state because we eat a lot. And one thing that I learned early on is that you can be obese or be living with obesity and still be malnourished, because nourishment has nothing to do with your size. Nourishment has to do with the nutrients that your cells and your body is all actually receiving. So if you're someone who's overweight and you are not getting any, vegetables, any nourishment, any amino acids, no vitamins or any of these types of things in your body, and you're depleted of it, then that means that you are malnourished. And if you are someone who is very thin and think that you are in shape just because you're thin, it's the same principle, same thought, is that if you are not getting any nutrients in your body that are dealing with all of the essential vitamins and minerals that we need, then also you are malnourished. And this really impacts our body long term. When we are not getting proper nourishment, it ends up causing injury internally to our cells. And I think we can overlook that because we think that to have an injury is when you feel an injury, you are bleeding, you get hurt, someone hits you, you have a bruise, you have a cut, and that's an injury. But our cells are injured based off of our lack of providing nutrients to them. And two major deficiencies that do contribute to anxiety is a deficiency in our B vitamins, which many people do have a deficiency in their B vitamins, and then also a deficiency in magnesium. So our B vitamins, there have been studies that have shown people who were able to get better intake of B vitamins helped with depression and anxiety. And these are things that we can find in foods. While supplements can be helpful, I will always encourage to find foods that are rich in these things because it's going to be the most natural way for our body to receive it. And so some of those foods are green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables are a great source of all of the B vitamins, as well as things like our seeds, like sunflower seeds, avocado, lentils are so nutrient dense and they're easy to cook. These are things that you can look at in terms of incorporating more of those in your diet to help get B vitamins. B complex vitamins are good, but nothing's better than getting these sources from our actual food. And then the magnesium. Magnesium has a very strong association with when your magnesium is low, your anxiety is high, and thinking about foods that also are rich in magnesium is going to help to relax you in terms of your feeling of anxiety and also your ability to sleep better. There's a strong association with magnesium and getting adequate magnesium and having better quality of sleep. And so now we're going to get into number 2, which is when we are sleep deprived, it does definitely impact our anxiety levels. So yes, sleep is one of those things that as a society, we are not getting enough of it these days. There's even a study that showed the difference in sleep patterns in the United States from the year of 1942 to 2013. And it showed how as time has gone on, we've gotten less hours of sleep. The times of sleep that we've began to go to sleep have gotten later, and the amount of hours that we're actually sleeping is gradually decreasing. And that's no surprise because what I do see is that we have many more responsibilities these days, and many people have trouble being able to manage that time of the evening where you just turn things off and give yourself the time to get you some good rest. Sleep is one of those things that is easy to get into a habit of not getting enough sleep. Just based on things maybe that you even want to do. You might want to stay up later to watch a TV program or, hang out. But when it becomes a pattern and it becomes that's the way that you're doing things every day, the long-term effects of not getting enough sleep is definitely impacting our ability to deal with stress, to deal with pressure in our day-to-day life. Because when we sleep, that's the opportunity for our body to restore itself. That's the opportunity for our cells to like rejuvenate themselves. And so when we're not giving our body enough time to do that in our sleeping hours and being asleep in those hours, then it lowers our ability to tolerate the day. And it brings on imbalances in our body that cause us to become more anxious with sleep deprivation. And one of the things that I would suggest doing is to have a bedtime ritual. Start to create bedtime ritual. That's a time of the day where you decide to stop everything else and start the process of winding down your evening. Because doing that helps your body to start getting in the habit of recognizing that when you're doing these rituals, that it's time for the body to get ready for sleep. The body will adapt over time to these rituals. And those rituals are things that are taking stimulation away. Think about it. When we wake up in the morning, we do things that stimulate us, that, help wake us more. We wake up, we might play some kind of upbeat music, or we might open the shades to get the bright sun in our home. You may start talking and doing all the things that make you feel upbeat. But when we are sleeping, it's important to recognize the same importance in creating a space for you that helps your body to know now it's time to calm down, it's time to wind down. And that can look like dimming the lights in your environment. It could look like, going from having loud or upbeat music or loud noise to softer noise to more calming music if you're playing it, even things like nature sounds, things that are calming, to let your body know that this is a time to start to relax and rest. And to do things that are calming. If it's taking you a warm bath with lavender oil in your tub at night, or if it's, drinking you some lavender or chamomile tea in the evening, if it's definitely taking away electronics that are stimulating, to give yourself at least an hour or two in your evening to stop with those things and start to go into this area of quiet and calm. So that is what I would say in relationship to sleep, is to start to introduce activities in your evening that lets your body know that it's time to start winding down. And also during the day, to also take times and breaks in the day that are just for relaxation, to help to harmonize the body to be in the day, but also have moments where you relax. Now, I remember when I was a young girl with my parents, and in our backyard, my parents would have the lawn furniture out, and some nights we would lay out and just talk and look up at the stars. And, I don't know that we do that much in our busy societies, especially busy cities these days. But when I really think about that and think about what that was beneficial for, it really helped to just be relaxed. And to stargaze is something that is so peaceful. It's very different from staring at our phones or watching, a TV program that's loud and has all different types of noise and effects going on. These are things to have like a good conversation with someone and just gaze at the stars could be something that really is an example of giving yourself some type of relaxation in your evening. And it could be something that you do before you start preparing for bed. And with all of this, the third thing that may be causing anxiety for you is stress management, or the inability to manage stress. We live in a society right now where it's very go, go, go. And it's no real value put on rest in our society. Even when I think about my children when they were in high school, particularly my daughter, I remember, everything was about getting the best grades so that you can go to the best schools. And so it was pressure on them at that moment, particularly getting into high school. And being in school, I remember she had a class that started at 7:30 in the morning. And then, she got out of school at 3 o'clock, and she had all this homework. And oftentimes she would be up until 1 or 2 o'clock to finish her homework. So it was like this pressure to get things done. And I remember as she got into high school, I would say going into her sophomore year, the rest of her high school years, she dealt with these headaches that were so challenging for her, trying to do her work, trying to do all the things and dealing with these headaches. And we must have gone to neurologists and all types of medications that were tried. And I remember when her headaches began to go away is when she went to college and she was able to create her own school schedule where she didn't have to get up as early. She wasn't going to sleep as late into the night, and she was getting more sleep. And so the lack of stress, this is dealing with sleep and stress, she was able to formulate a schedule that wasn't as stressful for herself, that allowed her to then be able to rest. When we're dealing with stress management, it is being able to give ourselves the ability to rest during our day, and to allow ourselves to give ourselves the pace in what we're going to feel is crucial to be done in the moment, or if we're going to allow the society to put the demands on us. And I know that can be easy to say for many people, but it is still very important that we value balancing things for our own well-being. Outside of our job's well-being or anything outside of us, is to give time to yourself before you give anything else or expend anything else to anyone else. So stress management is important. And one thing that can really be helpful for stress management is things like meditation, having relaxing activities that you provide for yourself that help you to be present in the moment, that help you to, just pay attention to your thoughts and, your desires. If you're doing a visualization meditation, these things can help to manage some stress levels and especially manage the chemicals that are released in the body when we're stressed. When we're stressed, we release a chemical called cortisol, which is important if we're having a short moment of stress because it helps us to get things done. But if we're dealing with stress every day, day after day after day after day, and we're releasing this cortisol, it shows its impact on our body, from weakening our immune system and causing disease, to also increasing our anxiety levels. So stress management is finding the boundaries, first of all, with people and things and systems. And it is also giving yourself moments of relaxation, and giving yourself outlets of things that you really enjoy, that are true to you, that really bring you levels of peace. And I told you I'd give you a bonus tip today. And that bonus in terms of things that can be impacting your reasons for having stress, or 3 things that can be causing your stress and your anxiety, your anxiety is connection. It is our connections. I think we don't put enough emphasis on the importance of our connections. And there are a few things in relationship to this. It is the quality and the quantity of our connections. Now, I have just had the past few years, I've gone through a lot of different changes in my life that have been stressful, and it's caused me to be more to myself. I've been a bit more withdrawn this past year, and this started out with good intention. I needed to spend some time alone, to meditate, to pray, to just be with myself, and that was healthy. But there's a balance in things. Because what I came to realize is the longer I did that and cut myself off from the world, that can be unhealthy, because connection is important. Having those people around that you care about and who care about you, and that you all have this beautiful harmony of a relationship. It equals support. It equals someone to lean on. It equals love that we all do need. So if we're not having any connection, that in itself can lead to things like depression. It can lead to things like anxiety, to feel like you have to do everything on your own and you have no support. That can also contribute to your anxiety levels. And then it's also the quality of your connections, because you could have a lot of people around you, but what types of people are you allowing to be in your space? If there are people who don't wish the best for you, or when you leave the space with them, you leave feeling worse than you did before you got there. These could be things to start looking at and really being honest with yourself about. Because we want to have quality. It can be very harmful to have people around you who don't really want to see the best for you, or who are causing stress or complications in your life. So do you have any of those relationships? This could be something to think about, and to really start really analyzing that. And it just starts with truth. It just starts with truth and knowing, right? If you're looking at relationships and you're saying that this relationship is unhealthy, then it probably is something that is contributing to your anxiety, because it could be contributing to your stress. And so these are the things that I want you to really think about when it comes to the anxiety that you are experiencing. How altering these things in these areas could help you to feel less on edge, less irritable, less worried. Give this some thought. Let me know in the comments section if this was helpful, and if you would like to hear more content like this, because I would be happy to oblige. But in the meantime, if you could like this video, if you could share it, if you could subscribe to my channel, and share this video with someone that you think could benefit from this information. Sending love to you, sending thoughts of wellness and calm into your life. And I'll see you in the next video.